For your cheapest and most reliable place to buy FC24 coins, check out mmoehp.com. Link is down in the description below. Use the code WOLF at a checkout for 5% off your order. Yes then YouTube, the 4-4-2, a formation that I loved. It's probably my formation on EAFC 24. Your absolute bread and butter, that's what I like to call it. So drop this video a like for me, drop a comment down below, and please hit that subscribe button to my channel. That'll mean the world to me. I love the 4-4-2, so without any further ado, let's get into the custom tactics. 100% YouTube, balanced on the defensive style. But, and there is a but with this by the way, the more and more I am using pressure on heavy touch, okay? The more I like it. This is very much right on the trail of balanced. I'm telling you right now, pressure on heavy touch is 100% a viable option. And I'm telling you right now, I think it could be meta within a few more patches. I really do. Especially with how it kind of nerfs your opponent's AI. But at the same time, I think it does drain your stamina a little bit too much. So you kind of have that trade-off where, do I want to use pressure on heavy touch or do I not? Because it can kind of really drain your stamina. But one thing I will say about it, if you're in a game and after about 15 or 20 in-game minutes and you can kind of tell I am 100% a lot better than my opponent, I would probably then switch into the pressure on heavy touch just to try and like solidify your authority on the game. But right now in the 4-4-2, I do prefer balance. But I'm telling you right now, pressure on heavy touch is good. Now the defensive width, there's something here that you are going to be a little bit shocked at. I up the defensive width. Yes, you heard that right. I actually upped the defensive width. Rather than going the usual narrow, I have now upped it. I have upped it to 55. Now, if any of you don't know what happens with the 4-4-2 sometimes it can feel, and let me know in the comment section down below if you find this with the 4-4-2. Sometimes it can really feel like your left mid and your right mid are kind of, rather than being on the outside of your two central midfielders, that they're kind of like on top of them and they're not actually very wide. So I've kind of thought, well, why not try upping the defensive width? And when I upped the width from my usual 45 to 50 and then from 50 to 55, I've really found that I'm not really finding that much anymore. That my left mid and my right midfielder, when I'm using 55 defensive width, they are actually in that left midfield and right midfield position. So it's definitely something that I feel like you can use. And I love it. I'm telling you right now. But sometimes you might not like it because there are a little bit more gaps for your opponent to try and exploit. But I kind of accept that trade-off with the fact that my left midfielder and my right midfielder are actually in the positions that I want them to be. The defensive depth. I'm sorry, YouTube. I'm sorry. I'm an old man, so you can guess what it's going to be. But there are two options, okay? Option one is the option that I use. That is, of course, the 71 depth. Now, if any of you don't know what the 71 depth does, when you lose the ball, your team will automatically press and they will automatically offside trap up the pitch. It is very OP and very broken, and it also completely kills your opponent's offensive AI. Actually makes your opponent's offensive AI absolute idiots. Although the game kind of does that for you anyway, but I kind of don't like using it though, because it's kind of, I much prefer using custom tactics where I use them and I know that it's me that's making them good. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I like using like a defensive depth that is like in that really sweet spot. This kind of, to me, the 71 depth just feels like a glitch, and it is a glitch. It will be patched eventually, probably. So if you don't want to use 71 depth and you are a soldier, and I wish you all the success and fruition that your life wants to bring you, I would recommend 55 depth. So a little bit of symmetry there. 55 on the width and 55 depth. I wouldn't up it to 60. Remember, like I say in a lot of my videos, I would recommend a 60 width or 60 depth when we do actually have two CDMs rather than two central midfielders. So that's why I would recommend 55 depth at the moment. But for me, until they patch it, I am going to use 71 depth. The offense, of course, yes, balance and direct passing. I hate to be that guy, but at this moment in time, that is just clear. It is just clear. Balance and direct passing is just clear of everything else. And I'm intrigued, by the way. I'm not going to go into any detail in this, by the way. Let me know in the comment section, do you use anything else other than balance and direct passing? One thing I will say, actually, though, when I have done my experiments and stuff like that, long ball and balanced is good. Like, that is good. I feel like that's probably the next one on the list behind balance and direct passing. But the problem is, I think, imagine balance and direct passing is here. I think long ball and balance is like here. It's not even like here. It's kind of like here. So that's kind of like the problem that I have at the minute. So balance and direct passing. The offensive width, I just leave it on 50. That has not changed in the 4-4-2. I really like where the left midfielder and the right midfielder are in general. I kind of don't really feel the need to change that. So because of that, I just leave them the same there on 50 width. Players in the box, you guessed it, it is 7. The way I look at that, YouTube, the more players that we have in the box, the more goals we will score. And my spreadsheet and my data does back that up. The more goals we score, no, the more players that we have in the box, the more goals we score. 2 corners and 2 free kicks. So custom tactics done. Let's get into the player instructions. Now, the strikers, both of them are on the exact same thing. I was experimenting something in the 4-2-2 that worked, and that was having one of the other strikers on false 9. But I feel like in a 4-4-2, we don't need to do that because we have 2 central midfielders rather than 2 CDMs. So this gap here isn't that big anyway. So both of the strikers are on stay central, get in behind, and come back on defence. I do actually leave my strikers on comeback on defence, even though I say to you that gap isn't too big between the 2 central midfielders and the 2 strikers. I leave the strikers on comeback, well, I put the strikers on comeback on defence just to try and close any gap that we might have off, because sometimes that gap can be a little bit big, but nowhere near like in the 4-2-2, another formation that I absolutely love, by the way. The left midfielder and the right midfielder are on comeback on defence, balanced width, getting behind, and get into the box for cross. But one thing I will say actually is if you are struggling to create opportunities, which some of you may well be, especially in the 4-4-2, it's not the easiest formation to attack with, even though I absolutely love it. I would recommend trying your left midfielder and your right midfielder on cutting side. It's definitely a viable option and something that I actually like. Just at this moment in time, I do prefer them on balanced width. Basically, if you have your left midfielder and your right midfielder on cutting side, they will make them penetrating runs up towards your 2 strikers, and they will kind of be in a better position to receive the ball from your 2 strikers as well. It's definitely something that I really like, but like I said, at this moment, I am preferring the balanced width though. Now, the 2 central midfielders, you're going to want to put them both on cover centre, but then the more attack-minded the more defensive-minded central midfielder, so for me, my informed Jude Bellingham, you're going to want to put that one on stay back while attacking. So for me, my right central midfielder is on stay back while attacking and cover centre. My left central midfielder, the more attack-minded one, is then on getting to the box for cross. Yes, get into the box for cross and cover centre. I want that left central midfielder, for me, my more attack-minded central midfielder, to be the one that is really, really helping out in the attacking third. And then I want the more defensive-minded central midfielder. So for me, my right centre mid, my Jude Bellingham, I want him to really just patrol that. Kind of like play the Rodri role or the Boubacar Kamara role for my team up the Villa. That's what I want him to do. And then my Michael Ballack, my left centre mid, I want him to get involved in the attacking play. I don't want him to be a passenger in that mid of the pitch. Get involved, Ballack. Get forward. Try and score goals. Try and get assists. And it's something that I really, really, really have liked. It's not something that I've really done on a 4-4-2 really until recently. So definitely give it a go. My left back and my right back YouTube are then on stay back while attacking. I don't attack with my left back and right back at all. I don't really feel the need to. I feel like I've got enough with my left midfielder, my right midfielder, one of my central midfielders and my 2 strikers. I feel like I've got enough in the attacking side of the game to do that. And then last but not least, my goalkeeper is on comes for crosses and sweeper keeper. And that right there is my brand new updated 4-4-2 custom tactics video for you guys. If you did enjoy this video, please drop it a like for me, drop a comment down below, and if you can please hit that subscribe button to my channel, that would mean the world to me. Thank you for watching. Remember, spread the love and positivity, PMA, positive male attitude. Peace out, one love.